There's no comments.
Hi everyone, this is Kimberly from Kimberly's Fabric Stash, and it is Fabric Bundle Friday. So a week goes really fast, and we're back after last week and our Jane Austen event. We have a great new event for you this week. We're going to talk about complementary colors for fall and how you can take different colors and get a warm, cozy look for your quilts or your sewing projects, or maybe a brighter kind of autumn colorway to complement the things in your home. So I want to begin by saying thank you for joining me. For those of you that are new for the first time joining us, my name is Kimberly Chafee. I'm the owner of Kimberly's Fabric Stash, which is an online quilt shop. However, we do have a by appointment quilt store that you can come into and shop. I'm just north of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we've been in business for about 10 years now. And we do send out a weekly newsletter. Hi, Cecilia. Thanks for joining me today. And for those of you that maybe don't get the newsletter, I would suggest hopping over to my website and KimberlyChafee.com. Hit the Shop Now button at the top here, and you'll be able to link over to my website where you'll be able to scroll down and find the newsletter sign up. And that way you know when we have events, when we have new product coming in, just wonderful things to share. So that's my little spiel for getting us started today. And it looks like that we have a lot of people joining us. So if you would go ahead and share this video for those of you that are joining us today, that would be great. We do have a prize to give away to when we announced this week that we were going to go live and have this event. I asked everybody to share, so I'm going to say a big congratulations to Pam for being an awesome sharer. She shares and shares and shares. So hello, Belle. I'm trying to read it. It's across the room here from Tennessee. Thank you for joining me. This is wonderful. And we're going to go ahead, and we have a lot to discuss today, and a lot of talk about color and theory. And we're not going to get too in depth though, because this is not a subject that, I mean, we could actually write books, and books have been written on color theory. We're going to do some basics on color theory because it is a little bit of an overwhelming topic, and a lot of times people get that whole glazed eye look, and we don't want to do that. So that wouldn't be good. So one of the things that we want to start with is just some very basic. Hi, Jeannie. Thanks for joining me. And I will get that bundle out to you. Jeannie won. When we go through these videos, we ask that everybody shares. Well, Jeannie shared last week, and she won a great prize. She won a $50 gift certificate from our store. And we're really excited for her, Jeannie. So, Jeannie, I got your message, and we'll get that bundle sent out to you. So thank you very much. So if you are joining us, please share, because I give away prizes at the end for those that are sharing today. So, and we will open up questions at the end of the video as well. So one of the first things that we know is that in the 1800s, Sir Isaac Newton, discovered the light spectrum through using a prism. He had sunlight come through a window, hit the glass he had, and it laid out the spectrum of light. And from there, through the course of different events, we had people start determining what are the primary colors, and then from there, how do we break them down? So basically, our primary colors, and any basic knowledge of art, you tend to run into this, especially in grade school, is the fact that we have our primary colors, which include red, blue, and yellow. Okay, so these are primary colors. These are the colors that our eyes see pretty much first. And then from there, we have what's called the secondary or complement colors. So what happens is when you take red and blue, you get purple. And this is actually purple. It's not showing as purple right now, but that is purple. Yellow and blue make green. So we have green, right? And then we have yellow and red, which make orange. Okay, so these are our complementary colors. Then when you mix primary colors like yellow with orange, you get tertiary colors. Those are the primary colors with a secondary color: blue, green, red, oranges. And from there you have like this whole wheel of colors that we use in quilting to start building quilts. All right, so that's a very basic, simple explanation of primary and secondary or complementary colors. Okay, so we're going to stop real quick and say hi to Gina, I believe, from Montana, and Pam. Hi, Pam. Thank you for joining us today. And Dana, thank you for sharing. So that's fantastic. So when we take those colors, at this point, we can start putting together complements to on the color wheel, which I left on the other side of the room. So if you could grab that off my desk, 1 second, I have a little color wheel to share with you. So we have our primary and our complement. So we have like yellow, and then you have oranges that go to the red, and then from red to purple, and then around to blue, and then to green. So let me just kind of show you. So this is a basic color wheel, and I'm sure many of you are familiar with this, but these color wheels are fantastic because when we go into a quilt store or we're in our stashes, these little complements to each other can build a quilt, and that's what we tend to use in quilt world. Most of the books, designers, things that you're seeing, they're not just kind of like, oh, I think I'll throw red and orange together in a quilt. They're planning this out, but they're using color wheels to do it. Okay, and it seems like one of those things where you're like, wow, they're so talented and they are able to figure all this out. Well, there are books available. My personal favorite is the Color Scheme Bible, and this is for more decorating. However, there is a really awesome feature to this book. Again, it's the Color Scheme Bible, where if you are looking for moods, like you want something that's bright and cheerful, or you want something like warm and cozy, or you're looking for something that's a little more modern, the colorways in here have different things so that you can take, and I'm getting a glare. Okay, so yeah, this all goes together. And that's how you can build a quilt. You start with one color or a fabric swatch, you know, like the Bonnie Hunter fabric swatch kind of idea. And once you have that swatch, you can just easily pull up all the colors that go with this. So it's not rocket science, except that it feels like it's rocket science because you're seeing beautiful quilts and, oh, how did they do that? And again, it's one of those things where if you know that yellows go with, you know, maybe reds, and they complement each other off of that color wheel, it makes building a quilt so much easier. So it's one of those things that, you know, I want to take out the big mystery to building a quilt. So how do we start? Well, we start with usually a main fabric. So I have a couple that I've put together today to kind of help you for the process of going through, so that you understand that books like these and color wheels are the easiest way to put that quilt together. Okay, so real quick, I want to say hello to Sherry. Thanks for joining us. And for those of you that are new, hello Sharon from Mississippi. Hi Nancy. Thanks for loaning me the quilt. We'll talk about it in just a minute. For those of you, again, just joining me, I'm Kimberly Chafee from Kimberly's Fabric Stash. And today we are talking about complementary colors to create warm, cozy fall projects, quilts, whatever we're going to be working on, and how do we get there. So best way for me to explain this to you is to share with you some samples that I've made up of colorways so that you can understand my thought process, designer's thought process. How do the Bonnie Hunters, the Kim Deals, the Joe Mortons, how do they do this? Because again, it's something that's not rocket science, but there's rules to it. And once you understand the rules, then you can actually go into your stash, pull colors together, and make up your quilt. And you're going to be so much happier that you don't have, you know, this weird look to your quilts. You don't want something that, like, ugh, it's off-putting. You want something that's very warm, maybe. Or if in case of maybe a baby quilt, you want something like the gray and yellow thing that's real popular. They actually work together, even though most of us don't like making gray and yellow baby quilts. It actually works, and there's reasons why it works. So And then we're going to say hi to Fran. One thing I want to also mention is the other part to color is not just the fact that we have primary colors and secondary colors, but then when we start adding other elements, the word tint is used when we add white to a pure color. So anytime you start adding white to a red, you start getting into the pinks. Adding a black to a red, that word is a shade. So a lot of times you'll hear people talk about shades of this and shades of that. That's because we've added black to that primary color. And then we add gray and we get tones. So again, it's a lot more technical than what we really need it to be. But just so you understand, there's other lingo. So because a lot of times you'll walk into a shop and they'll go, oh, I really love that shade, or maybe the tone is off. Well, they're talking about then at that point, the other colors that are being added to the primary colors and how those are going to affect your overall look. And by keeping things all within the same shade or the same tone can help make that quilt really come together for you. So one of the things I want to start with is, since we are talking about fall and complementary colors, we're going to talk about this quick collection that we have here. And I put this up on a board so that you can easily see it. And we're going to try not to do the light thing. Okay, so it's going to stand like this because it's reflecting off the thing. So basically what I have here is the traditional fall palette. How did we get there? So you will see that we started with this main leaf because it's autumn. That's kind of where we all start. But how did I get the rest of these colors? Well, basically, from that leaf, I'm going to see that there's other colors in my color wheel that complement this here. Well, the next thing that we have is this orange. And you know what? Could you turn off that one light on that back side because it's coming up as red? Okay, much better. Thank you. So basically, there's a little bit of orange in the palette. So I'm going to go to the main color first and go, what are some of the colors that I'm seeing here? So obviously I'm seeing an orange. So I'm pulling an orange. This right here, believe it or not, is a woven purple. And you're thinking, well, why did you pull a purple? Well, the purple is very muted. However, it blends in with those oranges. And then, so these are my two accents. And then I pulled in this plaid for a little bit of a dimension, a little bit of effect. And the plaid has browns, creams, oranges, all those colors that are coming back to this main color here. My background fabric is going to be this lovely like yellow gold to make all these accent colors pop up off the background. So when you're building the quilt, you're trying to make sure that you have complements to the main print. Okay, and those complements, we could get into talking about size of the complements as far as like the prints or maybe what they're bringing as far as movement and texture and all those kinds of things. But thanks, Nance. I added that. I didn't think you'd mind. Nancy helped me with some of this presentation, so big thumbs up to Nancy. So basically, when we have a main print, we're building off of that. Now, if I had a color wheel in front of me, I would probably put this on that color wheel and find the main colors. And then from there, it's going to point me actually to these other colors because that is how the color wheel works. It points you in the right direction. So you're not sitting here wandering around a quilt store for 30 hours trying to figure out what goes with this. A lot of times too, on the bottom of a bolt, many of you may not realize the manufacturer put colors that complement their main fabric. So if you're shopping, check the bottom of the bolt along the selvage. It will have color dots for you, so it takes out some of the guesswork. But this is a very traditional palette for fall. It has the leaves, it has the orange, it has the plaid, it has the yellow. So next week when you join me again, you're going to see how I put these together into a project. So, and then we can talk about like how they complemented and what the purple did and what the orange did and how that brought that whole project together. So you're definitely going to want to join me next week. So this is our traditional fall palette. Okay. The next thing I want to share is, let me back up. I forgot to say something. When I make that project, I'm going to introduce a flannel backing to it. Now, why am I going to do that? This is the time of year, especially if you're in Montana and maybe Tennessee. I'm not sure how cold it gets in Mississippi, Sharon, but I'm assuming that it might get chilly on some evenings, 50 degrees or less. I'm going to put a flannel back on that quilt. A lot of people complain about how flannel's so heavy. Well, if you have a cotton top and a flannel back, that quilt is no longer heavy. I'm going to throw a good poly batting in, and I'm going to have the coziest, warmest fall quilt available. So if you're never worked with flannel you can sew just the same as regular cotton, especially if you're using a good quality flannel. Now, the flannels we carry are from Maywood, and in my area where I live, I tend to be the shop that carries a lot of flannel. So if you're close by or you're interested in talking to me about flannel, let me know, because we have a lot of flannels available. So this is a beautiful flannel from Maywood that I'm going to back my project in. And then it's going to be so warm and cozy and not heavy. But you know, from here to spring, it's flannel backing season. So if you're looking at a potential quilt, consider your flannel options as far as the backing. How snuggly is that going to be? So the next thing I want to show is maybe a non-traditional, unlike the one I just showed you. Another type is a non-traditional palette. Now this palette is, okay, we might have to turn off one more light back there because this one is coming up wonky. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so it got a little dark so you guys can kind of see how this went. And my apologies. And we get chilly in New England. Barbara, absolutely. I'm assuming we get like the same weather here. So here I started with this main floral print. And by introducing these colors, that print now becomes warm, cozy, fall. And basically what I did is, if you look again, I have a green, a red, and a yellow, but the shades are not the absolute primary shades of red, yellow, and green. They have other colors introduced to give them a golden look, or a deeper red. So again, other things are added to these primary colors to give them those look. And then I'm complementing it, or so these are my accent. This is my main. Okay. And Pam, thank you for that extra wool batting for extra warmth. And wool breathes, so we have a nice airflow through there. Thank you, Pam, our resident expert on all things long arming and batting. So I appreciate the addition to that. And then a little bit of black. And you're thinking, why are you throwing black into a quilt? Black tends to make everything else just come forward. My good friend Nancy always says, if there's not black in it, it's not a quilt. Yet even just a little bit of black will just make all those colors pop. And that way you can feel confident that, you know, what you have is a very warm, cozy, but this is a non-traditional type of fall quilt. But look at the colors you're bringing in, the reds, the greens, the golds, a little bit of black. And then for our background, we have this little bit of movement with a little bit of brown, which complements the rest of this. So hopefully you can see that, again, we got away from the traditional leaves, but we still are going to have this beautiful warm quilt. So next week when you join me, you'll see how all this went together, and you'll be able to you know, maybe use that as a starting off point for your own fall projects. Okay, so we're going to do that next week. So this is a very beautiful palette. I can't wait to show you how that's going to turn out. So then the other thing that we want to talk about is the fact that not only are you blending fabrics, but sometimes you can get away with doing a fall quilt in a monochromatic scheme. So we basically pulled this beautiful, elegant monochromatic scheme, and you can see here that I'm using the French General Collection that has just arrived from, it's called La Rose Rouge. That's a tongue twister. And again, we're using a monochromatic, which means that we have not added a different color into the mix. So we're dealing with what is in the main fabrics here. So we have the starter point is our big floral. But again, notice I'm not bringing in a green. I'm not bringing in a gold. I'm not bringing in anything that would be complementary, but they're all in this one print, so they're blending in based off this one color. So we have this beautiful taupey with the red, and then for our accents we have our red, our taupey blender, and our red. This is also French General. This is more of like a solidy kind of blender. But we're going to blend these in, okay? We're going to use this as a background, and we have a monochromatic scheme going. You could do the same things with blues. A lot of people will do a blue monochromatic scheme. I've seen them done in gray monochromatic. So, you know, you just want to pull from your stash and see what kind of things can all go together. But, excuse me, again, you're not introducing a brand new color into this mix. These are all monochromatic together, okay? So that's another fall option. Hence why, you know, we bring in French General, because this is a time of year where this is a very warm look for our homes. If you look at French General in the springtime, you'll see they have a lot of pinks, a lot more bright backgrounds, and that is more for that time of year. So one of the things you want to remember about color is that it creates mood. And when we do quilt or projects, that mood is going to be in our control. So if you're going for that happy kind of, oh, look how bright and wonderful this is mood, you can control that through your colors. And again, that's why I personally like this book, because you can actually pull mood from in here. They actually have a section on mood. And if you're looking for certain things, then that mood can be set by your color palettes. Okay, so again, I'm just trying to take some of the scariness out of our whole color, how do we do this kind of thing. And Belle, thank you for the compliment on the combinations. Like I said, I had some help. And now we're going to talk about, you know, the other things that we can design for our fall projects. So, and if you have shared this video, if you would comment and let me know that you've shared, because we have giveaways, like I said, till the end. Go ahead and share that now. That'd be great. And that way we can have other people who are quilting enjoy and learn about how these quilts go together. So, okay. So let me think here. I'm going to, okay, let's talk about the quilt behind me, because this is exciting. I'm going to step off to the side here. All right. So, like I said, I had some help this week and putting together those boards. And there are some of us that are really good about putting together combinations of colors. You might be a person that just walks into a quilt store, you pull 5 bolts, and next thing you know, you have a quilt. Then there's the rest of the people that kind of wander around and they need a lot of help. And, well, my friend Nancy, she used to run a shop, so she has a natural ability. So we are, I've been lucky enough that she just finished this, and this is a small wall hanging from the Kim Deal, Joe Morton book called Simple Friendships. And this is a beautiful example of pulling colors in and adding little things that just pop, and you don't realize they're there until you've kind of looked a little closer. It might be a little more difficult for you to see. Let's turn on one of the lights in the back here. But Nancy has an element of purple. There's actually purple in this quilt. And again, I apologize because you're not standing here with me, but I'm going to try and go through this with you a little bit. So Nancy's used an orange, a rust, a yellow, greens. That's all your triangles on your color wheel. It's just the different shades of them that she used. And again, of course, we have our brown. We have this beautiful light background, and what you can't see on the background is these tiny little red dots, okay? So we have this beautiful complement going on, and many people are nervous about using a print in a background. For example, on this one board here, this is going to be the background, and it's a print. A lot of times we get stuck in this thinking of it has to be solid or it has to be just plain. No, not so much. You want to use a little bit of movement to keep those colors complementing each other. There's elements of darker browns in the blocks as well. And this is almost I'm going to call it a navy black. Those really pop up off of there. So you can be bold in your presentations. You can be bold in your color choices. Just you want to make sure that everything's complementing. And if you're unsure, again, those color wheels, those books that kind of lay it out for you, then you won't be so nervous, especially when you're buying fabric and it's expensive and you're like not sure and you want to maybe just do a little bit of swatch buying at first. A lot of stores will cut you a 1/4 yard. Some stores like myself, I'll cut you an 1/8 so you can play, maybe create your own color boards. So this is a beautiful wall hanging, absolutely timely for this time of year. And other thing I want you to notice is, why does this pop so well? The darker fabrics, of course, are going to, have that fall theme to them. However, her backgrounds that she chose are a mixed variation of lights and dark backgrounds. So she has a little bit of maybe a darker tan here, but over here, she pulled in like a brighter white almost. So you can really get movement and play off of combining different shades of background colors when you're picking out for this type of design. So that is one of the things, and this is a perfect example of blending. This is a lot of colors, but they all went together well. So hopefully you have a good friend, maybe in your arsenal of friends, that can kind of just pull these things together. They can help you. And what I will tell you is, this is something that can be learned. If you're new to quilting or just starting out on quilting, unless you maybe have like an artistic background, or you're just like really good with, like, you do a lot of coloring or those kinds of things, a lot of times this is very intimidating and people don't know where to start, and they're not sure, and again, they're spending money. So this is something that you have to kind of practice over and over, find the palettes that you like, and then branch out from there. So let me say a real quick hello. Hi Sherry, thanks for joining me. Hi Paula, thanks for joining me today. And I figured out it wasn't Larry. Yes, I didn't think Larry was watching me today. Maybe Larry's going to take up quilting. Who knows? So thank you for joining me. And then, so, again, this is something that's learned. And these are things that can be done over and over. So usually what they tell you is to pick a palette. Maybe you like the French General. Maybe you like something from Tula Pink. Maybe you like something from K Facet. Find something you like and start working within those colors. And eventually what happens over the course of a project or 2 or 3 or 10, you'll get to figuring out, oh, this is complementing this, and this is how I do this. And what if I add a little black? What if I add a little bit of white? What is that going to look like? So it can be done. It's not something that you just have to throw it away. There's lots of throwing away that goes on in quilting. I understand that. But this is something that you can learn. And again, there's books and color wheels to help you. So just make sure that, you stick with it. Quilting is a hobby that always is a growing kind of experience. And a lot of times we get nervous and we don't want to grow anymore, but we need to. So it helps us become better quilters. And again, you can do smaller projects like wall hangings, and it's things I'll show you next week that we're definitely going to be excited to share with you. I have 10 great projects next week to share. 3 of those are going to be from the color palettes I showed you today. How exciting. And I'm sorry, I'm reading one second. Sandra, you want me to showcase my flannels? I can do that. That is a great video idea. If you could write that down for me, I will definitely showcase my flannels. Thank you for asking me to do that. I love working in flannels, and I've carried flannels for 10 years, and I think they are just fabulous. And not everything needs to be a rag quilt. There's other things to do with flannels, so we'll talk about that. That's a great idea. Thank you for doing that. So let's go through some questions you may have, because that's the time. This is the time of the show where I ask you, what are you wondering about? What is it that maybe I said and you needed some clarification on? This is that great time. Comment. Tell me what you liked. Ask me to talk more about this. I actually have that book. I do have the book. It's right here, Simple Friendships. We're going to put links up to the things I discussed today at the end so that you won't be having to search all over the place. So we do have that. But this is a wonderful book. Again, this is Joe Morton and Kim Deal. And for those of you that normally follow me, you know that we do a lot of Kim Deal and Joe Morton in this shop. But look at how beautiful that is. And again, this isn't something that, oh, I'll never be able to make a quilt like it. Yes, you will. You can. You just need a color wheel to help you. And I suggest shopping with one. If you're in the quilt store or you're someplace looking at fabrics, pull that color wheel out of your purse. And if you don't have one, you can order one. We're going to list a link for little $5 ones. Sandra, yes, I do have wool batting. I do carry wool batting. It is from Quilter's Dream. No, it is not. It is from Hobbs. I'm lying. It's from Hobbs. We have Hobbs wool batting. But yes, we do carry wool batting. So let me show you a couple other projects here. Look how beautiful this is. And many of you love like a Kim Deal colorway. And again, she's using color wheels to help pull those. Thank you very much for doing that. Let me show that again. She's using color wheels to pull those in together because you're like, oh, I would never throw that together. You can do it as long as you're in the right shades and tones and they complement each other. So that is something that can be done. I'm trying to think if I have the other book. Let's see if we have any more questions. Okay, I think we're okay for questions right now. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to pull a couple names out of the hat for those that shared today. And for those of you that are going to share this to your friends in the coming week, you're going to join me next Friday because I'm going to have a prize for that person as well. So last week was our Big Jane Austen event. And we had a lot of people sharing that video afterwards. We had like 6,000 views from the Jane Austen event. So the book is across the room, but I had another one of the mystery quilt books from, I believe it's Anne Hazelwood. So we have that book available for our winner. And that person was, who did we write down there? Okay, so that looked like that would be Fran. So Fran, thank you for sharing last week. We'll definitely get that book out to you if you could circle her name there. And then this week for sharing, we have two winners. We have Dana and Sherry. You have both won. So what have you won? So these are amazing. This is going to Dana. Okay. Dana, what this is this is a 3-pack of our wonderful mesh bags that are project keepers. They are a small size, so you can take them to a class with you, and you can put in your scissors, your pens, whatever. Maybe you have a mini project you want to take along in the car. These are fabulous mesh bags, and I think that you're going to love getting these in the mail. So I'll get with you at the end, and we'll go ahead and get an address to send these out. So you're getting 3 of these. These are fantastic, and these are, you can't get them right now. Like, I can't get them from a vendor. These are so amazing. They're really thick, and they protect you and like your stuff. So if you have like something that maybe a Roxanne glue base kind of opens up, it's going to be in your bag. So those are cool. And then the other one, Sherry, I have this lovely collection of done woven towels for you. So it's a 3-pack of done woven towels and 2 patterns from the Wooden Bear. One is our cute little candy corn, and the other one is a pumpkin. Get you all settled and ready to go for fall. So congratulations to both of you for sharing today. So wonderful. I think that you guys showed up and listened to me talk about color. I hope it helped you. And again, I'll put those links up at the bottom, and go ahead and share this for next week because I have a wonderful door prize for next week based off this video. If you have any more questions after the video, comment below, or you shoot me an email at pitssewing@gmail.com. And of course, you can always text me. So I'm available as well. And if you want to set up an appointment to come visit the shop, please do so. We're doing by appointment visits, and I just appreciate you guys being here every week. And thank you, Nancy, for letting me borrow your quilt this week. I really appreciate it. You always come to my rescue, so thank you so much. So everybody, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I hope you've had a good week, and hopefully you learned a little bit about color today, and you feel a little more confident in picking out fabrics going forward. So I'm going to say thank you again, and hope that you have a wonderful rest of the weekend. And we'll see you back here next Friday for the 10 projects to get your fall decorating up and rolling. And you can see how we used our fabrics from our examples today. So thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.